Hello, good afternoon. This is Windy News coming to you live from the News Hub here at the University of Education, Winneba. Coming up in the next minute. NPP condemns Speaker Babin's autocratic suspension of MPs. Lands Minister designates Ama Kofi Boah to engage chiefs on Galamsey fight. And in business, women entrepreneurs to receive collateral-free loans from government. On the foreign front, rebels in DR Congo declare ceasefire for humanitarian reasons. We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the bulletin. My name is Nana Amanyamike by another news in detail. Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga has earned praise from Tolon Member of Parliament Habib Idrisu for his leadership in managing the recent Vertin crisis. In an interview monitored by Windy News, Idrisu commended Ayariga for his adept handling of the situation, stating that it demonstrated his capability to lead the 9th Parliament. He highlighted Ayariga's willingness to engage in discussions as a testament to strong leadership and a commitment to resolving disputes. The controversy surrounding the vetting process has sparked debate among lawmakers with calls for more diplomatic approaches to resolving parliamentary disputes.
The minority and the majority leader, in fact, I must commend the majority leader that he has shown leadership. Honorable Mahama Ayariga, he has exhibited that he is capable of leading us in the 9th Parliament because he reached out and then they're supposed to meet and then discuss this issue so that we'll be able to see a way forward. But the suspension, the Speaker has outreached his powers. The suspension was too harsh. The suspension, the Speaker doesn't have that powers under the Constitution and under the standing orders. The minority and the majority leader, in fact, I must commend the majority leader that he has shown leadership. Honorable Mahama Ayariga, he has exhibited that he is capable of leading us in the 9th Parliament because he reached out and then they're supposed to meet and then discuss this issue so that we'll be able to see a way forward. But the suspension, the Speaker has outreached his powers. The suspension was too harsh. The suspension, the Speaker doesn't have that powers under the Constitution and under the standing orders.
Away from that story, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament and Chairman of the Appointment Committee, Bernard Ahiafor, has defended Speaker Alban Babin's decision to suspend 4 members of Parliament following disruption during the vetting of cabinet nominees. These suspensions come after a chaotic incident on Friday, January 31, which saw microphones and tables destroyed, while the majority continue with the screening despite the day's original schedule being exhausted. The minority opposed the continuation of the process. In an interview monitored by Windy News, Mr. Ahiafor expressed his stance on the matter, offering his justification for the actions taken. Moving on, Speaker Alban Babin's decision to suspend 3 members of Parliament has sparked strong criticism from the New Patriotic Party, which described his action as autocratic and dangerous. The suspensions followed turmoil during the vetting process for cabinet nomination on Thursday, January 30, 2025, which was imparted 1 MP from the National Democratic Congress. In a statement released on February 3, MPP General Secretary Justin Kodua Frimpong accused Speaker Babin of disregarding the Constitution and natural justice principles. He further expressed support for the minority caucus, suggesting that the Speaker's actions were unjust and politically motivated. Moving on, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa has announced plans to meet with traditional chiefs in the coming days to address the growing problem of galamsey or illegal mining in Ghana. In his first day in office, the minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to protecting the nation's forest reserves and water bodies. He emphasized the need for a controlled and sustainable mining industry in line with the vision of John Dramani Mahama administration. Recognizing the pivotal role that traditional authorities play in land and resource management, the minister underscores the importance of collaboration with these leaders to tackle the challenges posed by illegal mining.
To reset not only Ghana, but especially in this case, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, to focus on reforming the forestry department, making sure that we take a complete look at the mining sector and address all the concerns that the people of Ghana have shared. Make sure that we create a pathway for legal mining and make sure we bring a stop to illegal mining. And in the process, make sure the destruction of our forests and our environment and our water bodies is basically brought to an end. We need to stop the bleeding, and so for the ministry, everybody who is working here, its goal must be towards achieving that objective, which is our priority. Land reforms at the Lands Commission. You listen to all the challenges that the people of Ghana have. How do we make it so friendly and easy for people? Make sure that illegal mining or galamsey is completely fashioned out, and that we create a pathway for anybody who wants to engage in mining to do it legally, environmentally friendly way, and make sure that we also protect, which is our priority. Land reforms at the Lands Commission. You listen to all the challenges that the people of Ghana have. How do we make it so friendly and easy for people? Make sure that illegal mining or galamsey is completely fashioned out, and that we create a pathway for anybody who wants to engage in mining to do it legally, environmentally friendly way, and make sure that we also protect our water bodies.
Member of Parliament for Finso North, Dr. Fred Che Asamoah, has defended the Minority Caucus actions, asserting that rather than hindering the process, they have played a pivotal role in ensuring smooth establishment of the National Democratic Congress government. In a statement, Dr. Asamoah emphasized that the minorities' activity are aimed at promoting accountability and sound governance, not causing disruption or aggravating the government. His comments come amid ongoing controversy following the suspension of 4 MPs by Speaker Alban Babin, which was prompted by disruptions during the ministerial nominees screening process. In an interview monitored by Windy News, Dr. Asamoah reaffirmed that minorities' constructive approach to the screening process, highlighting their commitment to thoroughly scrutinizing nominees to ensure that competent and capable leaders are appointed. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumani Kingsford Babin, has been lauded by the Ghana Parliamentary Monitoring Organizations Network for his swift and decisive response to the chaos that erupted during the Cabinet nominee screening on January 30, 2025. In a statement released on February 3, GPMON praised Speaker Alban Babin for promptly initiating an investigation into the incident and holding those responsible accountable. The group emphasized that this move was crucial in preserving the integrity and honor of Parliament. The Speaker's commitment to upholding the standing orders of Parliament was also acknowledged by GPMON. Furthermore, the network called for stringent penalties to be imposed on any MPs found guilty of misconduct to serve as a deterrent for others. We take a short breather. When we come back, it's business.
Hey there, welcome to Radio Unibe 98.3 FM. Seated right in front of you is Ampon Bismagusu, for short Ampon B. Here we say we are the ultimate in campus radio. I entreat you all to be listening to Radio Unibe 98.3 FM. And your Radio Unibe, forget about it.
Hello, my name is Amina Abisbanan, a media personality at Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Kindly follow us on all our social media handles. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on www.uew.edu.gh. We are the ultimate in campus radio.
Welcome back from that short breather. Now let's do some business. CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, has clarified that the previous SIM card registration process was not entirely ineffective, but rather lacking in certain aspects. His remarks come in response to an announcement by Sam Nate George, the Minister-designate for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, about new SIM card re-registration procedure. Sam George criticized the issues that rose from the earlier registration exercise during his vetting, pledging to implement a more streamlined system that would integrate directly with the National Identification Authority database. In an interview also monitored by Windy News, Dr. Ashigbe discussed the challenges faced during the initial registration process, emphasizing the need for improvement while acknowledging its overall purpose.
I would say, Umaru, that it was incomplete. You see, that the thing about it is the fact that the biometric data that was collected was not actually reading, if you take the fingerprint, for example, they were actually not reading it like the way the NIA did. And also, if you consider the fact that by our laws, the single point of truth should be the NIA. So, what we should have done was, again, like as the Vice President has anticipated that we do, where we would have used the NIA database to have done a complete cycle. But you realize that in the current SIM registration that we're doing, what you do is that you do the phase one, where you then interrogate the NIA database and it returns, to say whether the data you have provided is the particular person's data has been done.
Still in business, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, has announced the government's intention to establish a Women's Development Bank aimed at simplifying access to finance for women entrepreneurs, including the provision of collateral-free loans. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to enhance the economic participation of women and youth in the country. The drive includes various measures aimed at fostering business growth and creating job opportunities, particularly for women-led enterprises. Speaking at the launch of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries Women and Youth Wing, Ofosu-Adjare stressed the bank's importance in addressing financial gaps that often hinder the growth of female-led businesses. She emphasized that the bank would provide crucial support to empower women entrepreneurs, enabling them to thrive and contribute to the national economy. We take another short breather. When we come back at sports.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Caesar and it's time for sports on Windy News. Now to our first story. Enzo Maresca's Chelsea returned to the top 4 in the Premier League after coming back to beat West Ham 2-1 as former manager Graham Potter returns to the Stamford Bridge. After follow-up top 4 contenders Manchester City and Newcastle lost at the weekend, the Blues were made to work hard for their 3 points. Away from that story, Real Madrid had filed a complaint at the Spanish Football Federation and the Supreme Sports Council against Spanish refereeing system following their match against Espanyol last Saturday. And that's all for sports here on Windy News. My name is Caesar Abraham. Up next is international news.
Welcome back from that sports news with Caesar Abraham. Now let's go to the international arena. An alliance of rebel groups in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has announced a humanitarian ceasefire starting today, humanitarian reasons as the motivation. The group, which includes the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels, has been marking territorial gains in the region, which has seen intense fighting in recent months. The United Nations reported that at least 900 people have been killed and 2,880 injured in the ongoing clashes, primarily in and around Goma, DRC's largest eastern city, which was recently seized by the rebels. The ceasefire comes amid growing international condemnation of the offensive, with the G7 nations and the European Union denouncing the actions as a violation of DRC's sovereignty. In a statement, the Congo River Alliance, the coalition of rebels group, accused the Congolese military of committing atrocities by bombarding civilian areas using aircraft. The conflict in the region has exacerbated an already dire humanitarian situation, with thousands displaced and in urgent need of aid. Still on the foreign front, flooding across northern Queensland has caused widespread devastation, with thousands of residents returning to their homes on Tuesday after being evacuated. However, authorities fear that hundreds of properties and businesses have been severely affected by the inundation. The torrential rains which have been battering the region since Saturday have left part of northern Queensland flooded, with rainfall reaching nearly 2 meters. As a result of ongoing flood warnings remain in effect and power outages have been reported across affected areas. Despite the challenges, conditions have begun to ease more quickly than initially anticipated. Emergency service continue to assess the damage, while local officials remain concerned about the long-term impact on affected communities. 2 people have tragically lost their lives as a result of the flooding. While the weather has improved in recent hours, the recovery process is expected to test the resilience of local communities as they begin the daunting task of rebuilding their homes and businesses. Before we end with the news, a recap of the stories that made headlines. NPP condemns Speaker Babin's autocratic suspension of MPs. Lands Minister designates Ama Kofi-Boah to engage chiefs to Galamsey fight. Women entrepreneurs to receive collateral-free loans from government. And on the foreign front, rebels in DR Congo declare ceasefire for humanitarian reasons. And that will be all for Wendy's New here at the News Hub at the University of Education, Winneba. My name is Nana Ama Nyamike Baini. Thank you for doing the watching and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.